Welcome back, race fans, to the SVR paddock. We are in Daytona. Just want to make sure that I can actually get into the lobby. Just had a slight problem there. Hopefully I'll be able to get my way into the lobby. It says success on my screen, so that's great. This is how things look after the Interlagos previous round. Mega Racing lead the team's championship on 84 points ahead of Bergstein Racing on 77. JPI have 72 with the Lessie equal points there in joint third place. Then we have Kimmy's on 70, then a big gap to Brokaga in 6th on 46, and Coach Dave have the 7th position with 32 points. Moving on to the Drivers' Championship. Here we go. As I try and get everything ready for you, we've got Dummy leading the championship with 3 consecutive podiums and a 10-point score in round 4. We have 61 points for the Mega Racing lead driver here in G1. Then comes Senor Fak, also a regular podiumer, if that's even a word, on 53 points, with Flash moving up a position to 3rd place, even though he's missed a race on 48. Zumrun Bijan drops down to 4th place on 40 points, with Tequila Monkey having 38, moving up to 5th now. But he, like Flash, has missed a race. Funny Nicky has dropped to 6th place and has 37 points. Comacopa's dropped to 7th on 26. He missed the previous round as well. Dino has left us, I'm sorry to say, but we'll finish the season, I think, on 23 points and no more, unless anyone can persuade him to come on back. Then we've got Dirtbag Larry in 9th place. The neutral's favourite, of course, Dirtbag Larry in 9th. Uncle Pants is in 10th place and has 20 points. Red has 19, but we are told has solved his internet problems. Sock has 17. Arya, having only reserved the one time, has 13. Phil has 11. Mappy 10. Beragos, Vice and Thump are at the back, of course, because they are temporary drivers. Do check out info.svr-racing.com for all of the fabulous action. We are almost ready to get going for qualifying here, and I thank everybody, especially the drivers who have been waiting patiently to take on this Daytona circuit for their very late to arrive commentator today. I'm afraid it is just it was just a scheduling issue, but yeah, hopefully we can enjoy. Phil, I did get your message on Discord. I'm sorry, it is way too late to bring content in to the situation. That's just the problem for. If anyone does want to give me content for the races, I will need it probably the day ahead, so that I can get everything queued up. I'm afraid Sundays it's the busiest race day for me. Hi to everybody watching. Hi to everyone who has taken the time to leave a comment already. It's great to see Jailhouse Chris, Aussie, Scavvy, Kaisha the Pixels, VA Tita cheering on Focal here, and Biggerwood. As well as Phil there as well in the group. Hopefully we will see many more of you here to enjoy the race, and I can see that that the qualifying procedure has begun. We will have a rolling start. Flash is the lucky boy with the lead here for qualifying as we head straight to our run, and we go straight into qualifying. Remember, this is how things work here at SVR. We do the qualifying system where we do a savable race, and we run at a rolling start at Daytona. We are in the late morning, but we have an aggressive time multiplier to simulate the Rolex 24 hours, and the drivers are instructed to maintain the gap and a suitable pace here. If you fall off the circuit, then I'm sure passing is more than happy to be allowed. But yes, this is what's going on for this particular run. So let me just quickly attend to a message on screen. I've just I've told you many times I am juggling. So anyway, yes, I've done that. So my apologies. So we've got Flash then, who's managed to get the lead on out of and onto our banking here. Looks like he is rocking an Evel Knievel USA style livery for the Jann Mardenborough Interiors car today. The first time we've seen a different Jann Mardenborough livery, which I love to see. Changes of liveries. Here he is, and he's got the flash helmet on as well as usual, of course, as we join him on board as we go through that dreaded bus stop corner. The drivers have been instructed to keep two wheels on the circuit at all times, especially when battling and running in close proximity to each other. I'm going to show you Niki Lauda's POV, bottom right, so you can see two drivers tackling this historic Daytona circuit with a full capacity crowd in the bleachers for the races. The British-Scottish driver Flash crosses the line and heads down into the famous turn 1 onto the low grip concrete surface. get there eventually, Webbo, as we just missed the barriers on the inside, then go through the nothing corners of turn 2, the chicane, down into turn 3, the international horseshoe at the most inner point of the infield. Big oversteer moment there for Flash on this first and possibly best lap on the soft tyres, as he runs through then the dogleg of turn 4, looks for a good braking zone heading into turn 5, the west horseshoe or hairpin, which has a much narrower exit, and a short shoot then down towards turn 6, which is the in and out on your left. Try and get an early apex, stamp on the throttle and use the dark patch on the track to get yourself onto that oval as soon as possible, as he fires on out of the in and out and onto the famous banking. We have race control has said that we can do bump drafting, but only with teammates here for the race today in Daytona. Bump drafting will not be permitted with rivals. Look for that braking opportunity down into the bus stop. These GT3 cars are a real handful as Flash plays it safe coming through, stays on the yellow, tries to keep two tyres on the black stuff at all times, and then fires out for the all-important launch through that bus stop exit and back onto the NASCAR turn 3 and 4, the official turns 11 and 12, which are just one continuous twist around the banking. 31 degrees of banking here, and we head underneath the world centre of racing, so-called Daytona circuit, for a 147.111 for Flash. Comacopa second position, and Dummy comes through and sets a third. Well, no, he doesn't set a third place, sorry, excuse me. Dirtbag Larry goes second on a 1 second slower lap time, as Bijan manages to slot into 6th place, but Red goes second with a 0.4 of a second deficit out there to Flash on those first flying laps. Niki Lauda 7th place for the Austrian driver, and we look to see where the rest of our drivers are going to slot into. Sokwen 5th fastest, number 55. Phil Reeve has gone into 11th place, into 10th place, excuse me, and I think this is Senor Fak in 11th, having set a time, but fairly pedestrian time there on the way through. Focal racing for the championship leading Team Mega runs down and is in 12th place with Tequila Monkey. Very late to cross the line here, and there he goes. Tequila Monkey slots in a slow lap, obviously a personal best lap, but a slow lap for him, and stays in 13th position. Let's go back to let's find Red, shall we, wherever Red actually is. He's 8th on my screen, but he's 2nd position as he runs in the wake of the Coach Dave Audi R8 in front of him here. This is Red for the Kimmy's Racing Team, Ferrari engined and built car, of course, as Red looks for that good exit. There's many different ways to take the bus stop. That was a good one for Red, who is a second slower than he's been before then, but he's getting a great tow here. I don't think that will help him to a second and a half that he needs from that sector, but he should get a good slipstream here. Sun glinting off the rear window then for the Coach Dave Audi R8. Here comes Red to the line, and he'll try and take the position on the way through turn 1. This is essentially racing on the course. Behind him, you've got one of the Evel Knievel Jan Placht interiors. Couldn't be more different to the normal Jan Placht livery here. Usually black and gold. Here it is in white, blue and red with the stars, of course, of Evel Knievel. This is red. You know red. It's got the bright red wheels. On the colour change, Kimi's racing team, we've gone almost like a rainbow stripe effect on the back of the Ferrari. This is not amazing for the Ferrari to have this track position at the moment. Let's go back then to make sure that you can see maybe Flash as he runs through, and we've also then got Senor Fak. And the problem I have as a commentator is I have to click a different button to what I want to see as we attack this one. Here is Senor Fak, our Croatian speedster, here heading through the in and out and looking for a good exit. We've got Bongit joining us to cheer on Komakopa, so that's fantastic to see as well. So running on through the next corner comes Senor Fak, and I'll tell you what I would probably need to do is I will try and live without the information display on my screen for as long as possible. Let's take race information off, shall we, for you, and then hopefully you should be able to see a more clear image of the track positioning for the drivers as running on those soft tyres as the fuel wears off, but the softs are having problems. Bijan goes to 7th and Niki Lauda up to 9th, I think. Komakopa's in 10th in that unfamiliar Toyota Supra. Normally he drives a Porsche. He also likes a Ferrari from time to time, but I don't think is getting on particularly well with Toyota. Crosses the line then for this is on board with Senor Fak. He goes 2nd, but Dummy has gone into 1st place. Senor Fak got to within 16 thousandths of a second of Flash, and then Dummy annihilated the field and went up there into that 1st place. I'm just going to cycle through the drivers, so bear with me as I try and find Dummy here in the stars wearing special livery, and here he is stuck behind a Supra at the moment and heading in. Now everybody is on soft tyres, you can trust that one for qualifying. They just haven't told Hector, our race display and AI engineer. This is a little bit too close for comfort for Dummy, but he will take the slipstream all day long. In we go to the bus stop. You can take liberties in qualifying, stamp on that throttle through the 3rd part as soon as the car is lined up to run through the 4th part of the bus stop. We are giving up a little bit of that slipstream, but here we go, taking it again then for Dummy as we run through. I'm keeping my eye on the grid display here as running down in the wake, actually right onto the apron and heading into the pits is Dummy. I think going to try and get himself an extra lap on the soft tyres if he can. This is Komakopa then on board with Komakopa as you watch on board with Flash, and just look for any purple marks coming up on Flash's POV screen. Very unusual engine note of the Toyota Supra. Very whiny engine note. Dummy's in the pit, so is Uncle Pants. This is Jailhouse Chris asking, can you choose whatever car you like for each round? No, you cannot. Senor Fak goes to provisional pole ahead of Dummy. That is 0.135 between the two of them. Senor Fak sets a 146.549. Jailhouse Chris, the teams made their selections at the start of the season, and as far as I'm aware, those selections are not going to change for the duration of the 2025 VR Sim Racing World Championship. For anybody new to the stream today, these are VR exclusive drivers. Only VR drivers take part in any of our SVR races and rounds. So yes, the teams had the opportunity to select, and the draft pick was selected at random. Some say that Kimmy's have got a real start situation advantage in the Ferrari, but they were not the first pick for the draft. The first pick were Team Mega, who ended up with the Lexus, which hasn't pleased every member of the group. But Senor Fak leads Dummy by just a 10th of a second here in qualifying. Waiting for qualifying to be over as we join Dirtbag Larry, currently 6th position, only a 10th of a second away from Red's 5th place. Here he goes across the line then, and Dirtbag Larry goes onto the 2nd row in P3. Only a 10th now away from 2nd place, and I think has run his qualifying run now. There will be no more running for him, and he has slowed. So has Komakopa, who's managed to get that difficult Supra for the Brokaga team into 7th place as things stand. Here comes Uncle Pants. He's just finished his lap, and he has, well, he's at the back at the moment, but he hasn't connected to Hector, so there may be a penalty incoming. Irish Liquid joins us for the first time, reserving for our group here, and there he is in 13th position. He has successfully connected to Hector. As we run through, then Nicky Lauda, one of the final drivers to finish this qualifying situation. Senor Fac with the fastest lap of 46.348. Here comes the car into the pits. Sock in the very different Jan Placht Interiors car. He crosses the line, Sock. No faster this time, unfortunately. P11 for him, for Sock from the US of A. And we have the chrome and black special livery as designed by Dummy, with a little tribute to Dyno on the car as well. But Dummy, having self-designed this mega racing entry especially for the night racing, and check out that chrome and glitter effect rim application as well, as we will have a full day, night, day cycle here in the fabulous SVR Simracing World Championship, as Senor Fac leads the way in qualifying. Dummy, Dirtbag Larry and Flash with Focal putting in a great lap there to put Team Mega P2 and P5. So tremendous stuff there from them. So do speak up. Let me know who your pick for the podium is today, and if you pick out any particularly strong results there from qualifying against the grain. But you can just see now. Let me just try and do that on track. I think it's Fac, Dummy, Dirtbag, Flash, Focal Red, Komakopa, Bijan, Tequila getting in up there in the grid as well. Then up to Lou, Sock, Phil Reeve, Liquid, and Uncle Pants at the back of the grid as everything resets, ready for the rebuild of our situation. VAT to saying Mega 1-2. No, not to my information. Is that your information? Let's have a look. So, no, Fac was fastest for Delesi in the Porsche. Yeah, sorry, that's your prediction. Sorry, VAT. Yes, you're predicting a Mega 1-2, which is great, but slightly biased, perhaps. The drivers getting ready then for their race as we wait for the start of this race. I hope that everyone is looking forward to a wonderful time here. Make sure that you are subscribed, not just to my channel, of course. I know most of you are already subscribed, which I'm really grateful for, but you're also subscribed to @SVR-Racing, and that is for the S1 division, the top tier single seaters that will take place next week. Next week we travel to Tokyo, a very long trip then for the team and personnel, heading over to Tokyo for the street circuit central clockwise configuration. Absolutely petrifying prospect for everybody here at SVR to try and get through. Red just giving an apology there to Liquid for his results, and presumably for some sort of blocking that went down in qualifying. Yeah, looking forward then to what will happen at the rest of the run for everybody. Just need to check on any action that's been happening as a result in the G1 chat room while we sit and wait for the grid to be rebuilt. Let me just check out whether we got any issues there. I want to say once again a big thank you for the patience here on the for the audience and for the races, to make sure that we get the full benefit of our broadcast and all the action still to come here for the next round of the G1. Look forward to Thursday, 7 p.m. UK for the race for the G2 division. That will be my aim, to get that to you in time. And as I said, make sure that you have a good look at our website as well, which shows you a great deal of amazing content and information. Looks like the race has been, no, the server has been reset, so the race will now be rebuilt, and I will try and get you a preview perhaps of those results. Let me see if I can gain anything here, or the qualifying results. Do you know what? I think I might be able to. So I may well be able to get this on screen for you here. There it is, qualifying results. Oh, that's fantastic. Beragos, you are an absolute magician to make all this happen for me. And I think Solshock also giving me the rights here to tackle and get everything from the race director's position. 13 drivers. You can see the field spread of 3.3 seconds, but it's a very long circuit. Dummy missing out on pole by 0.3 of a second. Senyorfak getting a great result there. Dummy in second. Dirtbag Larry in third place. Flash starting in fourth, despite having an open track in front of him throughout qualifying, looking into the lead position then at the start of proceedings. Focal and Red sharing row 3, Copa and Zumrum Bijan on row 4. Row 5 is Tequila Monkey and Funny Nicky, and look out for that first corner for the proceedings as well. Then we've got Sock and Phil and Irish Liquid starting at the back. I'm not quite sure how best to refer to Irish Liquid. Should I just call him Baileys? I'm not sure at this stage, but I haven't. I'm not 100% familiar with Irish Liquid, so I will have to just plead ignorance at this stage, and he can let me know, of course, as we proceed through the season. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Love to hear your predictions. Of course, we don't have a safety car caution period. We will go flat out from the off to try and see this one through to a finish. 60 minutes of racing, a full day-night cycle, simulating the Daytona 20, the Rolex 24 at Daytona, which is held every January, as opposed to the Daytona 500 around the oval in NASCAR. So just asking everybody to check in here, Phil, just to make sure. Sorry, Soulshock is asking Phil to check in because the server is reset. So that's the situation we find ourselves with. I didn't actually look at Phil's car for Delessi, but they have gone full stars and stripes and are referencing a famous NASCAR driver as well, so we'll try and get nice and close into the cars throughout the course of the race. But for me, I'm kind of worried about this turn 1 and the adventures we're going to have into that situation as well. So turn 1 is the key here for everybody to do their best to survive. So yeah, Senyorfak leading the way in qualifying with a tremendous lap. He even got 6 laps in, as did Larry and Flash, Red, Comma and Bijan. Several drivers only got the 5 part, probably because they pitted for a second set of the soft tyres. So hopefully we are almost there with the grid rebuild, and we will get you your action momentarily here for this tremendous GT3 furiously fast race at the Daytona International Speedway. Don't forget, of course, we've also got the sorry, I'm trying to read a message here from Solskjaer. It says start on 13, stay off track. So start on the 13 past the hour. So we have a 1 minute countdown right now, slightly less than. So just time to visit the bathroom if you're very quick, or grab a snack and a drink, and make sure you're ready with us here today. I hope everybody is doing well out there, and if you're not, I hope this is just the tonic you need to enjoy the next hour of racing. Don't forget we have an official podcast, which is called Into the Slipstream. It's called SVR Into the Slipstream, hosted by Empire and Aria and special guests from time to time. So yeah, look forward to that. Look out for that, and make sure you give it a 5-star review. I also have a podcast. It's called Wheel Insights, and you can go ahead and find that on every one of your favorite players. And don't forget as well that the thanks button for tips is open on my channel. You can also join the channel and make sure that you leave a like today before you exit out. Now is the best time, really, because we've just hit the 13th minute and the timeout will count down in the lobby for the start of our race. We'll just get you into that lobby. We'll get Hector turned on and ready to go. And I will just refresh Hector as well, just for good hygiene reasons for Hector. What I will do is probably pick Bijan at the back as a picture-in-picture here, and we will try and keep track of all the action. Hi to Ashley, who's cheering on Larry as well, and I don't think I've said hello to Scabby yet either. Let's get some information on screen as we get ready for the race. It is round 5 of the G1 Championship at Daytona International Speedway. We're ready to go racing. And it's dropped the clutch and go immediately. The Kimmy's racing car of red gets a row up into the lead, but Dummy screams up into the lead of the race straight away. There is Red on the outside entry as Dummy defends hard in the Lexus, heading down into turn 1. The lead of the race given up by Senor Fak as he makes contact with Red on the way into turn 1, and Dummy drifts wide as well. That is a lot of action happening, and they are absolutely crowding around. It looked like it was Dummy and Red who were going to take this at the start of the race, but right away from the beginning, things all started to unravel. Dummy tries to close the door. There's a car on the inside, and it is just pinball, absolute madness going on into the International Horseshoe. Dummy at the back, behind Phil, and I think, yeah, even Red is ahead of Dummy. Dummy right at the back of the grid, but there is an hour of racing still to come. Senor Fak from out of nowhere managed to hang on to first position. Tequila Monkey bringing his Ferrari right up to the second position, and that brings Dirtbag Larry into third with Comacopa in 4th place. I will do my best to replay the start after lap 1 and see what happened to everybody. Penalty on the car then for the first of the Yamplak. That is Flash, who's picked up 5 seconds of penalty for going off track. And then we see Red on the fight back, this time with Focal, a different Team Mega Lexus here as they head through, and we see some passenger jets landing in the background. There are your leaders coming through and approaching the bus stop. Red has got ahead of the Lexus, and we come and we filter through the rest of the grid. Dummy has just held on to the back here, car number 33, and Senor Fak leads Tequila Monkey as they head down the sun, beautiful Florida sun glinting off the rear wing and windshields of the cars. A little change of the internal lighting conditions as they head down through past underneath the starter's gantry, and Senor Fak defends on the inside. This went wrong on the previous lap for the drivers as Tequila goes for the cutback and sweeps his way beautifully into first position. And Tequila, one of the hardest working admin members of our group, and I think for many neutrals will be a popular choice of overtake there and the leader of the race. And Red filters through and gains a position that time. And tremendous work then. This is Irish Liquid for Coach Dave in the Audi, and managing to settle on in to 8th position at this stage. And what a glorious image that treats us to on the way through the next few corners. Let's then have a look. What an absolute shocker then for the Team Mega drivers. That's a front wing damage for Focal, I think, who ends up at the back then. That means Uncle Pants is in that 6th position on Hector because he still hasn't been able to connect Hector properly. Let's go back then to the start of the race and see what happened. This was Red versus versus the Team Mega car of Dummy, and they both go in towards the corner. Red loses the car, but I think he was helped to it by Senor Fac. Let's try and have another look then, and try and piece all this together as we run. This is Phil. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, let's let's go all the way back to the start of the race. This is the Buckstein Transport Service car with his teammate in front and the Supra Copa on his way in. And Senor Fac peels to the inside. I think does make contact with Red. We will just need to confirm that one, I think, as we just quickly go back to live and back again to see what happened with this start of the race. This is on board the hood of Senor Fac. There it is, the contact, and then it pinballs into Dummy. Fac unfortunately miscalculating the start of the race and running all the way into his rivals, and that will not be a popular situation. But Tequila Monkey does lead us ahead of Senor Fac. Now we've got Dirtbag Larry versus Copa as the front four have opened up a beautiful gap here to Bijan in 5th position, racing on his birthday, I've been told from Scabby. And Oscar is cheering on Tequila here. That is Senor Fac down the outside. Tequila Monkey defending hard. Copa going for the gap on the inside against Dirtbag Larry as they continue their battle. Larry holding onto the inside line as they head up towards the in and out. But surely Copa will get the toe of all toes coming out of the in and out and onto the banking here in the Supra. Hard tyres. Order of the day for Copa, and he is keeping up with these guys really well. Hard tyres on board Senor Fac. That might explain some of the issues that he had earlier on. I love the fact that Comma's changed that roof version of the Webbo comms to be green as well. That really fits very nicely as we head down towards the bus stop. Towards the end of lap 3. Let's see what else have we got going on. That is Uncle Pants. So Brokaga at the tail of our championship are running now in 5th and 6th positions. Absolutely amazing. This is on board then as you ride with the Buckstein Transport Service driver. Man of 1,000 names, I think. Chupacabra has got his name. That's not Nicky, who also has 2 names. He's coming very close to the wall, and then you can see, born witness, that the faster line is the low line. There for both Janplack's cars coming through. That's flashing 10th after that 5-second penalty, and Sock getting up down the on the low side there on the way into the corner. This looks like Nicky's going to challenge going into turn 1. Lay on the brakes and Flash, quick as a flash, just stealing that one. What absolute audacity of Flash to take that position from that far back. Check this one out. He watches it all start to get and come unglued in front. Whoa! I think there was a little bit of contact, I have to say, in fairness, but it looked like it was going to be a really clean manoeuvre. Flash living up to his name there. What a breeze through. Unfortunately, though, I think making contact possibly with Nicky Lauda or his teammate. I can't quite remember. Sock is in 10th. Irish Liquid in 11th. Dummy is in 12th with Phil R in 13th. Focal has not pitted. He's wearing that damage. It's heavy damage here. He's on the hard tyres, as are most of our racers here. And this is Irish Liquid getting underneath the Janplacht of Sock in the Lamborghini. But this could actually end up helping Dummy, who's having to stay preternaturally calm on the way through. Looks like Red has just, well, is fighting with Uncle Pants in front here, but is holding on to 5th place at this time as they run wheel to wheel heading into the bus stop. The drivers were instructed to be very careful overtaking through here. Sock tried to close the door, but unfortunately there was an Audi in the way as Phil R almost makes contact with the barrier, may actually have made contact with the barrier, and we have a look to check out what's happening between Uncle Pants on the hard tyres and Red on the racing medium tyres, with the damage to the front of his Ferrari visually, if not actually affecting performance. Down we go into turn 1. This is becoming a real battle, this turn 1 situation, and if this is how the drivers are going to go about racing in Daytona, can you imagine what it's going to be like on a street circuit next week, next round? That's going to be out of this world difficult. I struggled to get an Adrian Newey designed Red Bull Junior around the Tokyo Central Clockwise circuit, let alone a massive hulking GT3 as you're given to race in the circuit experience. So you can get that taste of the action there as well. Livery's looking gorgeous in this light, says Chris Lean, as we'll change driver POV to dummy, I think, for a few minutes, as he has to park it on the outside and be passed by the Coach Dave car. Tequila Monkey, look at the sun glinting off. We're heading into golden hour, I think, at this point of the day-night cycle, as we've only had 9 minutes of racing so far, and heading in towards the bus stop and back out of it again for Tequila Monkey. Dirtbag Larry right on his tail though, and Senor Fac has dropped back to P3 right now. Bosch, it says on the front of his front fender. Bosch is what he was doing at the start of this race, yeah, we'll see what the stewards make of that situation. Certainly I know that Tequila managed to get by as a result of that contact, and Dirtbag Larry with a tremendous run out of the bus stop. I'm going to try and catch that in the replay buffer as we see them try and get into that turn one safely. Larry just the rear stepping out slightly, but managing to keep it. Was just too late on the exit of the bus stop to see what happened, but it was there with the slipstream as well, and making his way through very nicely indeed. Tequila Monkey back on the hunt then, as we will go inside the Ferrari to see if we can find a way back through. In fact, we've got a purple sector here for Tequila Monkey, despite the fact that we lost a position and then we crunch into Dirtbag Larry, who's was always going to brake slightly earlier because he was off the racing line, but yeah, drivers just struggling at the moment, I think, to handle these big cars around this low grip Daytona International Speedway in the infield, as V8 Eater says. Oh Lord, please elaborate, V8 Eater, say more about that one. Greetings, says Ren. Greetings to Bijan as well, who says, and that's nice for Rens to say happy birthday to Bijan. Bijan, I'm sure, would love to see a good result come out of this one, as the top four still great racing between them as they come through. Let's join Comet Copa in chase cam as we see Tequila Monkey trying to get Dirtbag Larry back again on the high side here. We do spend so much longer. Yeah, absolutely. What a wonderful start for Team Mega, says V8 Teacher with a heavy old dose of sarcasm. What a massive gap, 7.9 seconds after 6 laps for the top four on the remainder of the grid here. Senor Fat going for the wide line on the entry into the corner. Doesn't make the apex at all. That will hand an advantage, I think, over to Comet Copa as we head down through the nothing corners of turn 2, the sort of right and left. Tequila with a late move again down to the inside, but the gap was left, and then they fight over giving each other racing room. I can almost see the decision that Tequila Monkey made there to not squeeze Larry to the outside, which is his racer's instinct, thanks to the strict steward rulings that have been plaguing the start of our season to try and encourage professional standards of driving in this Sim Racing World Championship, the Sim Racing VR World Championship, I should say. Ruben is cheering on Larry, I'm sure a relative of Larry, and you no doubt that Larry will carry on pushing, as V8 is saying. There's a lot more contact than in the S1, S2 division races. Yeah, I can't disagree with that one. There are the stars and stripes of Senor Fac Racing under the Delessi, Dutch Delessi team. There is Tequila defending hard on the way into the bus stop once again. And then we have seen really different lines from Larry and from Tequila. I think that was advantage Larry that time, as he tries to get the run going on the back of Tequila Monkey. You can see the gap disappearing to the leader as they head through. It's under 0.2 of a second. Larry will have an opportunity here round the outside. Turn 1 does allow you to try and make this stick. as Tequila has the opportunity to perhaps dive down the inside here, but Larry managing to find his way around the outside. Tequila with a slightly better exit than the Audi at this stage. Medium tyres for Tequila Monkey, medium tyres for Larry, and then we've got the hard tyres for Senor Fac, who doesn't necessarily know the tyre choices. Once again, Tequila making a late move down the inside, and I think letting Larry go there to not pick up any ire from the stewards. But Tequila just can't help himself reaching down into the draw there for an opportunity on an opening that Larry keeps leaving into these hairpins. As the sun is setting beautifully now at Daytona, we will go into night racing. And I forgot to change the temporary exposure, so it's going to be dark. Although, of course, the floodlights will light up this racetrack all the way round, so it won't be too bad. This is Comacopa, 4.5 tenths of a second back from this group. Further back from him, you can barely see P5 Red in the Ferrari. And I think it will be as they were as we run through this sequence. So Red is back in 5th place. Bijan is in 6th. He's got Uncle Pants right behind him. Nicky Lauda is in 8th. And here comes Dummy from 9th place to attack down through the banking on the way out of the in and out through the banking and approaching the bus stop. Dummy with the nose ahead. The new chromatic nose of the Team Mega car. Thankfully avoided damage, I think, at this stage for him. But there you can see the scratched up rear quarter, courtesy of Senor Fac's Porsche at the start. That was marginal if we're staying within the white lines, strictly speaking, across the exit. But Phil is in 10th. We've got Irish Liquid in 11th. Flash, very uncharacteristically, down in 12th place with damage to the front right suspension. Then we've got Sock also with damage. And, well, what else were they expecting painting their cars in the Evil Knievel colour scheme? Focal doing as much of a job as he can here for Team Mega at the back of the grid, thanks to that early contact and damage. And we head into the infield with Dirtbag Larry, and it's almost night already, as Tequila Monkey is now 8 tenths of a second away. And I think Larry can now start to relax about that gap. Scavvy saying game audio has quit out. Thank you. So no vroom vrooms, you say. Okay, this happened to me before. Let me just turn it off and back on again. And hopefully that will come back for you. My apologies if we have lost the game audio. It's got something to do with my capture card, I think, unfortunately. We will wait and see if that comes back. Kelvin says, let me see Flash. Well, we have a battle going on here for the top 4 positions as it continues between these rivals. Comacopa's also gone for the hard tyres. It's important that you know that Comacopa has had a 1-hour endurance race already today, racing out of Florida. And yeah, Scabby, give us the audio. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm kind of tempted to just record some so that I can play it over, but I apologize. Flash just passed Liquid, so let's have a look at P11. Thank you. He has confirmed that past Liquid with the damage on Flash's car. That was from a long way back, so I wonder if Irish Liquid had a problem. I think I'm going to be too late to catch it in the buffer here, unfortunately. But there is Flash in P11. As there's also a battle going on in front of him. It's a 3-way battle. We've got Phil, then Nicky, and then Dummy in front. Oh, Dummy having recently made the pass. Looks like Red has had a problem. Has Red just dropped down in the order? Where is he? He's just been passed by Uncle Pants. And that is against the form book, you have to say. So Uncle Pants doing a great job there to put a pass on the Ferrari driver for Kimi's racing team, Red. We've got little packs of battles going on. Red, Uncle Pants, and Birthday Bijan here in the infield. And VAT to saying, you and Focal just did a 1-hour enduro and Barcelona a couple of hours ago. So fantastic to hear that as well. Here is Uncle Pants. Hot on the heels and really bringing these hards into play now. and keeping his powder dry until lap 10. And now he's really dialing up the intensity. And we are in the night stage of this beautiful racetrack, as Kelvin calls that out too. It really is fabulous. Side by side in towards the bus stop, but both drivers being tremendously fair there, and both being entirely legal on the way out of the bus stop as well. Bijan, the reward for being fair with one another is you can carry on battling, and there is no further issues. Dirtbag Larry and Tequila Monkey pit off the medium tyre. That is going to open up the race for Senor Fak and for Copa, who are now your P1 and P2 in that order, as Bijan tries to make the overtake and get the revenge on what just happened to him. And you want to make sure that you don't cross over in front of a driver who's about to break in front of you, Uncle Pants. And he's ended up compromising his own line into the corner. Tequila Monkey and Dirtbag coming back onto the racetrack then around a Dummies area. Let's have a look at Dummy on board the Lexus. The only saving grace for him is he's on the hard tyre and he didn't scrub a set of mediums, but he will come out. Tequila and I think Dirtbag Larry dropping down further into the order. Let's see where here they are then. This is Larry out of the pits in P12. Brim the tank full of fuel. And I can't see Tequila, where he shorter fueled the car. So he has come out in 9th and has leapfrogged Larry. So Tequila Monkey shorter fueling that car. Larry using the hard tyres on the full tank of fuel. Tequila Monkey only wanting to run about 76% of fuel in the tank at this point. And so presumably wanting to open up the opportunity for another 20-minute period on the hards before going for a two-stopper, hard, medium, the order of the day then for Tequila Monkey. And we'll see what Copa and Senor Fak do, as this is Copa in second place. The gap has opened out a little bit. Now that Senor Fak has got that clean air, he's starting to stretch away ever so slightly from Copa, but it is still less than a second, and of course dropping by the mini sector as Copa continues to catch. Let's have a look, shall we, at what Dummy has been saying on the radio. He's just telling the situation. Can we have Dummy's sound? I don't think so, unfortunately. Let me try that. That's a good idea. Let me try sound. Looks like we can get some sound from Dummy. So there you go. Thank you very much. Great idea for that one. So Dummy's been asking for just to communicate the tyres, and he got a very wordy answer than perhaps he was hoping for from our racing engineer Hector. Let's click through to see Bijan, and I think he's just saying his fuel at the moment as well. Is that holding my sound choice? Yeah, thankfully. Okay, good stuff. So Senor Fak, 1.1 seconds ahead of Copa here. Uncle Pants moving up on the hard tyres into P3 now. And then you see Bijan there in that 4th position. I just want to check out what the rest of the drivers are saying to each other, to Hector, and interacting with him at this stage of proceedings. As we move down the order, you can see Dummy in 5th, Licky Lauder in 6th, and then Flash just ahead of Tequila Monkey. Yeah, these two should know each other well from social lobbies that we host throughout the week in SVR. Although I have to say, we've probably dialed them back a little bit, thanks to the fact that we're all trying very hard in our seasons to make things work. So here he is then, Tequila Monkey. Copa now pits off the hard tyres. That's earlier than I thought, and certainly too early to open the window for the medium tyres to run to a finish. So that is likely a two-stopper. Again, Copa, as I say, in the pits. Bijan now in 2nd. And there is the Flash. Uncle Pants pitting. That's clearly plan A then for Brokaga, as Dirtbag Larry runs in P9 and lost track position relative to Tequila, but we'll have to put less fuel in. However, you've got to say that the more fuel you carry, the more fuel you use because of the weight effect. So Tequila might be playing a blinder here. Out of the pits comes Copa, and he's about where he was relative to Dirtbag Larry. Didn't gain or lose a great deal of time here. And with Dirtbag Larry behind Tequila Monkey on track now, that is how things looked prior to those pit stops. Focal promoted thanks to pit stops happening at the moment. And then we've got here the battle between where is Focal. There he is in the Mega Lexus. Behind him, Uncle Pants, fresh out of the pits. Focal making those mediums last longer than some drivers have done on the hards, although, of course, an earlier pit stop, a very early pit stop for Focal, I should probably call out. Red, on a new set of hard tyres, is in 9th place. I've got to believe that Red's underlining pace that put him on the second row of the grid will eventually prosper him, despite the issues that he's had with contact here. Aerial shots of turn 3 are gorgeous, says Vader. So can I go to Soulshock's Twitch? I can't easily, no, unfortunately. Yeah, that's I'm afraid that's a bit difficult for me, because he's not in my Hector screen either. So I have to set up a new capture as well. So there's a lot going on to try and figure out. There you have the number 3 NASCAR historic tribute there from Team DeLacy. I've got a feeling Phil had something to do with that, as Flash is his wheel rims are glowing, if not his brake discs at this stage. Irish Liquid debuting with us here, reserving, I think, for Coach Dave, down in 14th place, but getting a good idea of what racing for SVR feels like. And Sock is in 11th, pitting right now. Here is your leader then for the DeLacy squad. And I often mention this, but all of our race teams are title sponsored. So thank you to all of those teams, as you can see on the grid there. And I'll just show out the fuel comparison, fuel calculator here, the consumption graph for this is for Bijan. Yes, this is for Bijan. Let's get rid of the chat, and you can see Bijan's fuel due to run out around lap 17. So that gives you a really good idea of how deep into the race he is going to go. And anybody can view all of these Hector things. Hector things. So if you remember of the Discord, you can access the Hector live races right now, and you can have your own overlay. You can view your own driver's POV, and you can also access through our website every driver's POV link, and then you can go ahead and set up a 17 screen access, and you don't even need to have Sky Q or Sky Glass or Sky Stream or Now TV membership. We give you it all for free. And if you are feeling generous, you can always drop a tip my way, or a tip by way of the fabulous SVR. And again, links in the Discord for supporting the channel and supporting all of our fantastic broadcast and racing efforts, especially the efforts that the stewards go to. Some say creating work for themselves, others others far more generously saying doing a tremendous job for our community, and a thankless task. So big thank you from me anyway for the stewards, apart from when they rule against me, in which case they're wrong, clearly, as all of our drivers feel the same way. Here comes Nicky Lauda then, being passed down the inside by the Coach Dave leader. That must be Larry coming through from a blue flag situation. You've got a great eye view of that going on. Let's just cut to the hood cam, and you can see then that's Copa behind, still waiting to be released here from the rival, who is clearly in the slower portion of the race. 28 minutes have elapsed. And Ren's saying, is Tequila in the pits? Good call. Let me see. P4, Tequila Monkey. Not at the moment. Tequila has pitted, though. If that's what you were asking, he has pitted onto the hard tyres. and he is still ahead of Dirtbag Larry as they entered the pits and exited them, and it's not far away either. And there you can see our previous second, third, and fourth drivers still in that net second, third, and fourth positions. Senor Fax still leads, and he still hasn't pitted out there. Let's have a look actually while we've got the opportunity at Senor Fax and his pit lane. Now, watch the track map and watch out for the pitting estimate. There's a line will feature on the race, and there you can see the line exiting the international horseshoe, and then you're looking to see where he will feed out of the pits. And I think, looking at things, that he will feed out ahead of his rivals at the moment. Now that's something that his team engineer can look at for himself and check out, and he can communicate that with Hector, although I'm not sure Hector can actually say what portion of the track they're on, but they can organize and see how much of a time penalty a pit stop takes. But that does not at this point include fixing damage or refueling. Obviously there's a lot of unknowns in that calculation, but it gives you a rough estimate, and then you add a bit if you for stationary time in the fuel situation. So really good running, and look at the sparks that happen off even the GT3 cars. The SF23 cars were just absolutely showered in sparks if they ran nose to tail through the banking, and in fact the drivers often choosing not to. This is Larry catching Copa and catching him really well. Looking a little bit slower on these medium tyres at this stage. Strange to say. A face full of sparks here for Larry as they come through the banking. Not too bad though with the windshield. When you don't have a windshield, it's obviously a lot more problematic to run. They are closing in on Tequila Monkey in front. Copa holding the line on the inside, but opening the door potentially to Larry to dive down the inside. I think Larry was flashing the lights to say, there's not much else I can do as I brake here. And thankfully, it did not end in tears as Copa kind of tiptoed around the outside edge of the circuit. Meanwhile, in front, that was the opportunity Tequila had to get away from this group and didn't do so. Clearly having his own issues there, Tequila. Again, on his second set of hard tyres. Copa has used the mediums, and I think he can go hard, medium, medium. And I think that the other drivers are using two sets of hards, potentially, in this course of the race. Tequila with a lot less fuel on board, don't forget, than the drivers behind him, who I think brim the tanks. Certainly Larry did, but that Audi, a lot more thirsty than the Supra in front of him. Tequila started on medium, says Renz. Thank you for the info. Absolutely. But he's running. So yes, I think he will get that second set of hards, of mediums at the end. You're absolutely right. But he will have a greater amount of time stationary. Can we get a cockpit view of Tequila? What a cockpit view of the front driver of this group? Sure. All right, but not for long, eh? There you can see the gap in front to the birthday boy Bijan, and then you've got Dummy further forward than he is. Dummy's gone to the 28th minute, so has Senor Fak and Bijan on the hard tyres. How much further can they go, I wonder, as you can see Copa closing in on Tequila Monkey here. Tequila staying low, forced wide. Bijan is now pitted, so that ends that speculation on 2 litres of fuel remaining, and Copa sweeping around the outside. Glorious overtake from him, judged to absolute perfection. Let's just check on that one again before I head up to see how the fuel load is looking on the cars in front. Can they, in fact, one-stop this race, Dummy and Senor Fak? And there was the overtake from Copa, beautifully judged on the brakes. Absolutely love to see activity like that, and he is moving forward then with the tyre advantage at this stage. Here is Senor Fak, very little fuel remaining on his car. Dummy can probably go even further, another lap, I think, after this one. I feel almost certain that going through the bus stop we have so many camera angles here at Daytona, it's hard to track where the cars are at any given point. 29 seconds off the lead is Dummy, but he should pick up places thanks to one stopping this race and going really, really long into the race. Here is Tequila Monkey in the Ferrari with the unicorn and Kimmy's nursery school livery. The first nursery school to sponsor a racing team? I think they might well be. Senior Fact Pits on 0 fuel on this lap as the drivers come on in towards the bus stop here. Oh, and that's a mistake then from Tequila Monkey, who's hot on the heels of Comacopa. I'm sure picking up some dirty air and then losing time to Comacopa. Dummy has gone through to start his 19th lap even on the hard tyres and starting fuel load. Here comes Dirtbag Larry with the better run. Thanks to that mistake mid-bus stop of Tequila Monkey. Larry already through. And car number 4 losing 2 places in 2 laps at this stage of proceedings, but all is not lost. We still have 34 minutes to run this fantastic Rolex 24 simulation here at Daytona International Speedway. It will be sunrise before you know it, and that is Nicky Lauda pitting as well with 3 litres of fuel. So another driver who has gone through to the end of lap 18, but Dummy will be the man who went the furthest in his Lexus here than anybody else on the starting fuel of the cars, which I believe is 100 litres of fuel. Tequila Monkey still looking racy, but I think giving up quite a lot of practice time to help with the running of the race. Certainly doing a lot of typing in the Discord this week, I have noticed, and we thank him for doing that. Running a personal best in that sector. There you go. Sorry, just a conversation going on at the moment. Kim is a better sponsor than tobacco, says Rents. You're absolutely right, and we are. And as you'll see on the SVR Racing channel, Kimmys are training the next generation of racing stars for SVR. We want to make sure we have a future here. This is Dummy eking out the fuel. Look at that front left tyre. It's usually the front right that is hurting around here. He's got his indicator on. He's telling Comacopa, I'm heading into the pit lane. Don't go down on my inside here. And Comacopa does the right thing then, and essentially is aware of what's happening. Dummy, 19 laps from the start. Look at that front left. That is absolutely astonishing. The problem is, I think he's going to have the same situation with the medium tyre on the way out of the rest of the race as well. So I think he's dealing himself a bit of a rough hand for the closing stages of our race. That was Comacopa, as you've got Dirtbag Larry leading in second, Tequila Monkey. Senor Fact hot on the heels now on those medium tyres, and unfortunately I think that's going to mean that Dummy is going to drop and drop and drop down the order as his teammate pits on the same lap. A big enough pit lane for our drivers so they don't have to share a pit box. So teammates, there's no double stacking happening here in SVR, as Dummy saving grace here really after that turn 1 incident of lap 1 with Senor Fact here on screen. He will have just put that out of his mind. That's something to deal with in the week with the stewards, but for now it's just get at it and get the shortest possible race time. That is the attitude, I think, here. You can't give the place back in that situation. I don't think. He just had to keep it pinned and just take the penalty that may come his way towards the end of the week here in the days that follow our race. Keep on top of that on the website. You can see all the decisions explained by the stewards, whether you like them or not. You can see them explained by the stewards on the official race results page for each of our results as well. We are completely open here, more so than some leading international organizations for track racing. But yeah, then we've got Uncle Pants in 5th at the moment. That's the battle at the front we were just watching quite a bit of. Uncle Pants in 5th. Flash then on screen, flashing by in his Evil Knievel setup here in P6. Not quite as quick as perhaps we are used to seeing from Flash. That's Red going a little bit aggressive on the grass on the exit of the bus stop, and unfortunately paying the penalty, or he will do next time round anyway. That hurts for Red. And the one day he's managed to get that internet sorted is the day that he's going to suffer from contact that really wasn't his fault, as far as I could read in the first go. So Biggerwood asking if we've got two drivers on wets. I don't believe so. No, there's no water here. Are you sure it's not inside your helmet, Biggerwood, that you're seeing the water? Dummy is in that 10th place. Remember, he's got a 38-second deficit to the lead, but he is presumably on a one-stop today. New medium tyres on board. He will try and use the tow from the cars in front for as long as he possibly can. Sock in 11th. Here is Focal for Team Mega. Also then in that 12th place. Also suffering early on, but persisting and going to push to the end here. Try and pick up places. He is an entire minute away from the lead of the race. Niki Lauda out on new medium tyres, I should say, on that situation. Yeah, I think Niki Lauda and Bijan have possibly told Hector a lie there and told Hector what tyres they're on, just to give us some entertainment. Liquid, it says down 12 places, but I don't think Liquid qualified second, so I'm questioning that one for the time being. Here is Komakopa, 2.8 seconds ahead of Dirtbag Larry, who's up 3 places from his start. Komakopa up 1, Senor down 1, but with pace in hand, I think, towards the end of the race. Question mark over the tyres, whether people are telling the truth to Hector or not. I have raised this before. Here is this beautiful camera angle where you can even see drivers out on the banking as well. Tequila Monkey, Uncle Pants, actually not far away, Uncle Pants, really. 10.8 seconds from that top 4 battle, as they have all condensed once again. Now we've got Red, having paid that penalty previously. It's got Dummy behind, fast drivers out of position here at the moment. Red trying to get that Ferrari hooked into the apex that Phil manages to leave a postcard, sending that one as we head down towards the next right-hander, and Dummy takes the opportunity. There was an open gap left by Red, who was still trying to catch up. Oh, flash of the lights there from Red on the way out. He didn't take very kindly, I think, to that. Let's have a look. Has Red got a legitimate complaint here? I know he's not on controller, so that's not what it's about. Well, the gap was there. Dive bomb on the brakes, but ahead at the apex, I think. And then cue a little miffed flash there from Red. But let me know what you think in the comments. As Phil tries to defend the inside, gets a huge snap, and that was drama there for Red. But Red navigating it well as he comes through. Honourable mention goes by way of Red's network here. Hope we figured it out, says Renz. And yeah, I think that it has been figured out. It turned out, as far as I heard from Red, that there were actually wires loose in the wiring in the house, and that is what has been causing this really spotty connection. Komakopa pits then off the medium tyre for his second pit stop, dividing the race roughly into thirds, possibly a second set of mediums coming on then. We will estimate. Do we still have no sound as well, folks? Let me know, and I will put. I'm going to put let me choose a driver. Let's go for Phil's Porsche. We haven't heard the Porsche sounds, so let's put those on as well. This is Komakopa in the pits, going on to the medium tyre, and as Ren said, no sounds. Okay, no problem. We can always mix some in later, maybe. So my apologies for that, as we've got Komakopa in that 5th place. I don't need another thing to have to sort out between streams, but I will do my best for you. Then is that Senor Fac or is that Phil going wide? I think that's Phil, sadly, going off the circuit. What happened here? He just came out of the pits, and then it looks like he's been spinning as well. Let's see, Phil. And no, it wasn't just coming out of the pits. This is Ferrari exiting in front. Okay, I think we had a brake failure there for a moment from Phil, unfortunately, and that's going to take some getting back onto the racetrack. So I think something went pretty seriously wrong for him. Now we've got Dirtbag Larry, who's been passed by Senor Fac. Let me just see if I can catch that in the replay buffer. Unfortunately not. We can see that Larry tried to have a go on the way into the bus stop, but it didn't quite work. So this is the battle for the win here with 17 minutes remaining on the clock. Props to the starter there. He stands on that podium on his own the entire race long. And I hope that that day to night transition simulation is accelerated for him as well, because that's going to be a sore pair of feet at the end of the Rolex 24. And this is Larry now. He can see his teammate up ahead, and that's awkward in the team briefing afterwards. But let's be honest, we got a situation where Liquid is stepping into the breach here, Irish Liquid, to help out and reserve with minimal preparation. And a big thank you to him for fleshing out the field today. Senilfac leading by 1.2 seconds. The advantage for Senilfac and Larry over third place, 11 plus seconds now at this stage, as the hard tyres continue their wear rate. And Senilfac is on the mediums, and he'll be now hoping that that he can get those mediums home. What can Irish Liquid do here to hold up Senilfac? Well, nothing. But maybe that's a task too many for a driver new to a car, new to a league, to ask him to do what the Delesi team did last race in Interlagos, and held up in the G2 division. And you can check that out in the Interlagos race on in the official playlist, or on the playlist on my channel there as well. You can see the previous race if you haven't yet caught up with that. So Uncle Pants running in third place at the moment. You've got Komakopa, who is 25 seconds away from the lead of the race, but on fresh mediums. Now, this is great opportunity for him. He's got clear air. He doesn't have a toe in front, but he's got that clear air advantage at the moment, and he'll be looking to target Dirtbag Larry as he comes out of the pits. Dirtbag Larry coming into the pits now with 15 minutes to go. He will have a fresh set of mediums for 15 minutes. Oscar likes the yellow headlights. The OCD in me doesn't particularly appreciate the headlights because they're not actually correct. GT3 headlights should be white in WEC rules, and GT4 in yellow to help distinguish them on track. The Porsches just play by their own rules around here. I don't think it gives them any real advantage in terms of visibility. It's slightly easier to look directly at them, maybe, for the audience. Komakopa, second place, and Ren's saying no sound yet. Thank you. Do I need to increase the volume here slightly? I mean, I'm getting volume from that quite considerably, so hopefully that's okay. I did try to mute and restart the sound for you, but what I will try and unlock my desktop audio. So let's see if that has helped at all. Turn that off and let me know if that has changed anything for you, and whether you're getting some vroom vrooms, as I know you all like them. Just my voice coming through, period. So not even through the little bit of sound with that. Okay, let me jack that up then for you. Okay, that is on full now. That's full background sound that I can get you. Vroom! Okay, that is a potential fix, a potential workaround then for me. Okay, Senilfac leads by 25 seconds from Komakopa, but still with a pit stop likely? Question mark. No, possibly not actually, but that's a big ask. 25 seconds from Komakopa to finish this race out. Bijan is in third at the moment. I'm wondering if there is enough fuel on Senilfac's car. Let's have a look actually, shall we? Because we can find that out. Let's look for the fuel estimate here. So we've got the pit line estimate, which shows him coming out in front of car 72, Komakopa, with no fuel additional being left here. On board, that puts him running out on lap 33. Empty at lap 32.3, it says for Senilfac. Has anybody got a guess of how many laps we're going to do? I think that's going to be 32 laps by the look of things, so I think we're going to be safe. So there's a lot of work for Copa to do, potentially, to finish this race anywhere near to Senor-Fac, but of course he will give it everything and put the pressure on, and you can never account for mistakes from drivers. How about this? Bijan in third is on old medium tyres and unlikely to make the end of the race in fuel, I think, given the difference between himself and Copa's fuel load. Dummy should make the end, is trying to do this as the American Airlines aircraft lands in the background here at Daytona. You've got Dummy sweeping around the outside as we go into the morning, into the sunrise conditions now, where you see drivers and mechanics looking absolutely destroyed at this time on the Rolex 24. Dummy comes through as the sun rises rapidly, really rapidly, as we run through then, and right now Dummy is running there in the third position. Is that loud enough with the vroom vrooms? I'm hoping it is. It's approaching the peak that I'm used to it seeing. So hopefully we're okay for you. Liveries are on spot, on point, as Ren says. All good, all good. Well, let's get a close-up look at some of these liveries then while we can, as you see the sunlight glinting off the chrome accents, the new chrome accents that might be here to stay on the Team Mega car. No change, I think, for Buckstein, or for the Coach Dave Academy, who've reverted after their temporary May the 4th livery. Again, nothing massively different for Tequila. He's got that famous monkey symbol on his front quarter there, still indicating to the left. Not quite sure what that's about. No, he's got his hazards on. Not quite sure why. I think maybe some new gills on the rear quarter there for Kimmy's. But this colour change looking very, very nice in the sunlight. Brokaga, no major change on this edition, but I know that Copa has put on a new Webbo comms sticker, and there you can see Jan Placht have also adjusted the Webbo comms stickers for this race, and again looking really nice. Then this matte, this white effect of, and a new fastest lap attempt actually right now for Flash on new medium tyres, but still half a tank of fuel. Just make out Flash's shield emblem around his ears under his helmet there, in the Jan Placht Interiors car. You can see we've seen all of these ones, red with his red wheels. That's the only difference really, and without the monkey. And then you can see the tremendous celebration stars and stripes, the metallic stars and stripes on the Porsche Alessi entry, looking awesome out there. Looking really smart actually. And there's the Star Wars Webbo comms on the tail section of the line. Okay, well that's some scenery review. Oh, how good does that look? For the sun glinting off. 25 seconds is still the gap between Senor-Fac and Copa out front. Dummy, how has Dummy done this? He has got himself back to P3 after being near to last with a one-stop strategy. Bijan doing the same, but actually doing a job here for Dummy, holding up Dirtbag Larry with 8 minutes to go as we run through. So Dirtbag Larry running in that 5th place, was in the top 4 group for much of the start of our race. Tequila Monkey has been dropped slightly now and is too far away to take advantage of a tow. I wonder if Larry will manage to get by on the approach here to the bus stop. Needs to get the overtake done before really the braking zone for safety. That's Dummy approaching us, but the focus is on what's happening behind, as Bijan, I think, has got the car trimmed out there for top speed. Larry struggling to keep up with the Nismo in front of him. Will Dummy's tyres survive, says Renz. That is the question here, but he did go some 35 plus minutes, some 19 laps on the hard tyre. So he's trying to do what, 12, 13 on the soft, on the medium. Here comes Larry then for the 4th place. Great run. Larry has been tremendous through the bus stop. He's managed to get the job done on Tequila a couple of times, and now on Bijan. Neither of those two drivers are slow. by any stretch of the imagination, although I imagine Dirtbag Larry with a small advantage getting that Coach Dave Academy sweet hookup there for his telemetry and advice and coaching that you can get from Coach Dave Academy as well. We need to get ourselves an affiliate discount link, don't we, on the channel or on through the SVR Racing allegiance that we have. This is Flash in P8, very much in no man's land out there as we're back into full daytime conditions. We've just got Focal coming through into focus in the mega liveried Lexus, heading down into that horseshoe. Again, a completely different camera angle, another brilliant wide angle camera angle from him. What I haven't seen yet is the Goodyear blimp angle, which I would love to see Gran Turismo sort out. So that's Red in 11th, and it really hasn't been the race for Red at all, and I feel absolutely distraught for him. He has had the worst luck of anybody so far this season in G1. Senor Fak, his gap still in P1 is 25.6 seconds. And he's trying to take these tyres, I think, longer than Dummy, but Dummy is floating the car. The Lexus is a little harder, I think, than the Porsche. Certainly on the front axle, thanks to all the weight being on the rear of the Porsche. It does protect those fronts, and I guess he's doing what he can with the brake balance as well to balance that out. It is lap 30. I think it's going to be 32 laps by the count of Senor Fak's fuel economy. Fastest lap so far, 147.6. They are running around at the moment, Senor Fak, 48.7. So what is that? It might be a 33rd lap. We'll let you know on lap 31. Komakopa, 25 seconds to the rear of Senor Fak, but looking like it's going to be a good day for Brokaga at this stage. Brokaga at the back of the grid in the Supra. Something has clicked for the Brokaga team in the intervening period between Interlagos and here, and I love that angle as well. It really looks tremendous with the Daytona branding on the walls. It's a wonder to me why Daytona don't sell more advertising on the circuit. I suppose you've got quite a bit there already. Some of the biggest billboards on a racetrack. Dummy in third. Look at the tyres. Can you do 2 more, maybe 3 more laps on these tyres and make it out of the bus stop and similar? Apologies for Hector just struggling a little bit there. As we've got some people leaving the circuit by passenger jet. Bijan dropping down the order then. He's in P8 now. He couldn't make it to the end. So that's going to open up potentially Tequila Monkey being promoted, and he has been, to 5th place. So as they cross the line, there's 4 minutes clear. I think Senor Fak is on for a 33rd and final lap. Now, can Senor Fak reach the end of the race? This is the big question for me. I think we are going to have some issues here for Senor Fak. Let's have a look. Does it still say 33? It says 32.5 for Senor Fak. Let's have a look at Komakopa. 32.2. Wow. Okay. These guys are running very, very close. And there's Dummy on 33.4. And Larry on 34.1. Incredible, actually, when you think about it. Larry's got that extra lap full of fuel. What are the guys going to do? As Tequila is close to Larry, says Rents in the chat. Here he is. Not really. I mean, 3.8 seconds. But now I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Senor Fak and Dummy's fuel econ to the flag here. And Tequila's stepping out the back on those medium tyres. It won't feel quite as dramatic to us here on the to him, I should say, as it does to us on the outfield. It'd be the merest twitch, but looks good nonetheless. Here is Flash in P7. His qualifying flattering to deceive a little bit as Flash. He works offshore, so he gets half the amount of training time that everybody else does, I think. Flash, he's never made an excuse about that. but one of our highest rated lobby drivers in rank lobbies is Flash here. This is Bijan on the new soft tyres, running very close. Fak is pushing it close without fuel, says Ruben. You're not wrong. This could still come the way of Larry or Komakopa even. You've got dummies picture in picture at the moment. Focal in 9th. Nicky Lauda is in 10th place, and those medium tyres are dead. And look at Nicky trying to turn left, and it won't bite. Playing it very safe through the bus stop. Behind him, Red on much newer medium tyres is catching at this stage. That's Phil in the Porsche. And behind him, you've got Sock in 13th, Irish Liquid in 14th. I don't think we'll do that final lap, but I'll tell you who will have to. Senor Fak with the fuel. Let's see, his Porsche has done nearly 7,000, I want to say miles, because I've set mine at miles. So I think Senor Fak has done 7,000 miles in that Porsche GT3, which I think you can only buy new. So that's heavy. That's really heavy. As Komakopa is, let's see if he's doing any Lyco on the way into the bus stop, shall we? Lift and coast Lyco. We'll see if his there's a long delay between coming off throttle. Nope. Still keeping it pinned. Komakopa to the finish, and Dummy is catching him now, actually, quite quickly. Look at Dummy's tyres. They've got to do one more lap. That front left screaming for mercy here. The front right's not great, and the rear right's not brilliant either. So he'll maybe get a few quid back on a recycle of the rear left, but that's all. As Dirtbag Larry runs in that 4th place with comfortable fuel remaining on the car. Killer Monkey, only 980 miles in the Ferrari. Oh, that's someone out of fuel. It's Komakopa out of fuel. That's a major miscalculation for Komakopa. Way out of fuel. Before the start of the final lap even. Wow. Komakopa just completely didn't think it would go this long, this race. 33 laps. Will it finish this way? How about that for experience? I don't want to bang on about that experience in the Porsche, but 7,000 miles is a long way. The drama then, as Komakopa is going to finish, well, hopefully 7th. Bijan has crossed the line on his birthday in P8. This is Senor Fak. What do? Do you just keep it pinned and just hope that you get as far down the racetrack as possible? His gap is 22 seconds to the end of the race. This looks like Dummy. That looked like maybe a gear higher than he'd be used to running, as Larry can go absolutely full chat here. Senor Fak comes out of the bus stop. He's still got virtually half a Daytona 500 racing lap still to go before he reaches the line. I think he's going to be safe, and I think these two are going to finish around each other. Komakopa P7 thanks to getting that extra lap. Here comes Senor Fak. Previous wins have been in doubt and been taken away, but Senor Fak, imperious, and wins in Daytona. What a great run with the merest hint of fuel remaining on the car. How about this from Dummy? Punted at the start, and then manages to one-stop his way through to a brilliant 2nd place for Team Mega. What a fantastic drive from him. Dogged determination. And a neutral's favourite, Larry, with a tremendous 3rd place as well. Congratulations to him. Tequila Monkey getting that 4th place over the line. Uncle Pants and Flash are side by side. Will it be Uncle Pants in the Pro Cargo Toyota ahead? It will. Uncle Pants, I think, got Flash, did he, right at the very end of the race as Flash crosses the line. I think that he was already ahead. Tremendous finish then between the two of them. Uncle Pants just staying low for long enough, and Komakopa crawls home. Bijan in 8th, Focal in 9th, Nicky Lauda in 10th, Red in 11th, Phil in 12th. Then you've got Sock and Irish Liquid. But congratulations to Senor Fak with the stars and stripes. Yes, he had contact at the start, but I can't see the stewards giving him more than 21 seconds of penalties for that incident. So he may receive penalty points, but in the end, the pace was just absolutely incredible from our Croatian racer, our only Croatian racer, of course, as we run through to a finish here at Daytona International Raceway. What a tremendous run that was. And congratulations to Senor Fak, to Dummy in second as well. Will Comacopa stay in seventh? I think he has to, because he was a lap ahead at the end. Pole position to victory for Senor Fak. Well done to him. Here are your provisional results only of the race. Remember to leave your thanks by way of subscription, liking, and sharing of the video if you can. Remember, you can join the channel, go to the merch store, or you can leave a tip with the thanks button. Senor Fak with the win. Dummy with the fastest lap in the end, a 1:47.6, and second place. Dirtbag Larry in third. Tequila Monkey in fourth. Uncle Pants, Flash, Comacopa finishing at the end a minute and 36 slower, thanks to running out of fuel. Bijan in eighth. Focal, Nicky Lauda Red, Phil, Sock, and Irish Liquid. Brilliant stuff from everybody. Thank you so much, especially to those of you in the chat as well who've taken part in this great race. Really appreciate everybody for all your efforts and calling out action and incidents whenever you see them. Apex Specs saying podium for Dirtbag Larry, I think, because he's a Coach Dave co-driver, and yeah, GG's all around. Brilliant stuff. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Remember, the G2 will be out Thursday night at 7 p.m. UK. And then, of course, same time, same place next week, hopefully 10 minutes earlier, for the S1 races. Also, keep tuned for my attempts to do well for my team on my POV earlier on in the day on Sunday as well for the Tokyo Central Clockwise circuit. That's where the teams are all headed right now. For you, though, I'm sure that's enough racing action for the day. Thanks so much. We'll catch you on the next race day.